Welcome to Industry Voice by OCT Clinical. Today, we're visiting the Adam Smith Conference in Moscow. It's the only international event dedicated to trends, regulatory, and operational aspects of running clinical trials in Eastern Europe and Russia in particular. With our guests today, we will define trends which are going to transform the clinical research landscape in the next 3 to 5 years. Ksenia, thank you very much for coming. We appreciate it.
Thanks for inviting me.
I would like to start with some general questions. So what are the requirements for sites to be included in clinical trials?
Some information in our official website at our company, but as clinical trials, it's quite confidential topic, so we cannot post too much, right? And usually we post information, so we have information about the bio-run studies overall, therapeutic areas which we run studies at, but no concrete details because, as I said, it's quite confidential topic. So what we do see, sites approach us directly. They send emails or they call in to us. We interact on such conferences like this one. We have already quite a big list of sites which we work with, especially that we have studies in the cardiovascular area, and you can imagine it's a huge number of patients and huge number of sites. So our sites network is quite strong already. So we do have established relationship with sites, and they sometimes contacted us. And also, BioRussia has a quite strong medical affairs team, and sometimes we are approached via our medical colleagues. So they reaching us and saying, this doctor is quite interested. Can we include them in a potential list for future trials?
Thank you very much. That was very useful. Now I would like to talk about patient centricity. Do you think it's the changing paradigm for pharma?
It is, whether we want it or not, but it is. And I would not say it's only for pharma. I think it's for healthcare system overall. Pharma, it's one player, but we are not the only one, right? So I think it should be, and it is actually, for all players in a healthcare industry. So it's a clinic, it's a institution, it's a pharma, as I said, but all other players as well. So patient now is put in the center, or we're trying to put patient in the center. And we're trying to rearrange or revise our processes and procedures. Like you probably know, this decentralized clinical trials, it's a new approach, or maybe not so new approach. We use it actually due to COVID restrictions. I mean, all of us have to use it. There are still many open questions like data protection, like patient personal data protection. So there are several main, I would not say main issues, but quite big questions which we need to solve to implement this concept, completely. But we're on the way.
What are the main difficulties for a pharmaceutical company when entering new regions and markets?
Once we will try to run studies in Belarus, and I would say it's quite a challenging activity because you need to establish everything, from the scratch. I mean, even if you have a local affiliate there, still you need people who know what is a clinical trial is, what is the local requirements, what are legislation requirements. You need to set up a network of vendors, local vendors. So I think, this knowledge of an environment in a certain, as you said, local market, and resources. You need to have resources who can, cope with this, because on a startup, as you know, it's always require more time and more energy than when it's a maintenance phase.
Since we already started talking about clinical trials, how do you approach CRO selection process? And do you prefer working with a local vendor or a global one?
In Bayer, we do have a strategy how we approach in a CRO. And this is a global strategy, not a local one. So we have part of our trials which we run internally, and it's my team, in Russia, which is responsible for them. And part of the trials are outsourced to CRO. And CROs they are our strategic partners, so they're selected on a global level by our strategic managers, and then we work with them in a country. So I'm not selecting CRO in Russia. So what I do, I select some local vendors in terms of, I don't know, again, like we come back to the patient centricity. So in terms of certain activities, I can select local vendors, but not, a big zero to run a study.
And on a closing note, talking about the future of the industry, what trends do you anticipate?
So you already mentioned the patient centricity, and I think it leads us to these decentralized clinical trials because it would be easy at the end, maybe not in a startup, but at the end it would be easier, cheaper, more efficient, and again, patient centricity. So decentralized clinical trials would be one of the trends, definitely. I think we will see, and we already see it, studies in orphan disease. And even if it's oncology, you're looking for patients with a certain mutation, with a certain, very, very strict criteria to be included. So how to work with orphan patients, it would be a challenge, and it would be still a trend. And maybe the third one, I would say new modalities like cell and gene therapies. It's coming, it's needed, but how to do it in a certain country, it's still a big, big topic to discover.
Ksenia, that would be all for today. Thank you very much for coming and sharing your thoughts and insights. I think our audience will learn a lot from this.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for watching. If you would like to be our next guest speaker, reach out. You can find the right email in the comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe.